Hello, welcome back to the Dog Author channel. I am your dog author, Janelle Fury. Happy to be here. And I hope you are giggling a little along with me at the huge pug portrait in my background. It's so obnoxious. I love it. Anyway, I feel like I should be welcoming you to Master Pug Theater. You may guess today's story will be featuring a pug. And although that isn't my pug, he is certainly a magnificent pug. This story is once again from Twisty and True Tales of a Shelter Dog Matchmaker. I'm going to get down how to show this more appropriately in time, believe me. So this is one of the stories. It's about Wyatt. Wyatt was the original, the OG pug in the house. And he is the dog that also inspired Zuggy the Rescue Pug, that whole collection of dog stories, pug stories that I'm still writing now. And I love presenting in schools. So if you know any school teacher friends, please pass it along. We visit in person if you're in Colorado Springs and vicinity, and we can join virtually online too. In fact, the kiddos love when we do that because then they can meet the pug. I can't take him or her, either of our pugs, to schools because of allergies and things like that and reactions. But online, one of the first questions that kids ask is, can we meet the pug? And I'm like, absolutely, you can. Here they are. Okay, so without further ado, thank you for being with us today. I just had to rearrange the Reginald. My co-pilot's here, and I need to make sure he's stable. He tends to just want to lay where there isn't a chair, and that isn't good. We have to make sure he stays on the chair. So this story is about better than halfway through the book. It's called Wyatt the WonderPug. And the opening quote is from Quentin Tarantino. Dogs got personality. Personality goes a long way. There were many dogs, big, bigger, small, tiny, skinny, stout, loud, and quiet. Then, in the last aisle of the kennels, our eyes met. Hello, handsome, I offered as the robust 25-pound pug waddled over. The very alert matchmaker immediately suggested that we meet. I was reluctant. I had come for a boxer, not a pug. I was so determined to get a boxer that I had already promised myself that if one was not available that day, I would come back next weekend. But heck, if this got the little dog out for some fresh air, why not? She put him on a leash and we walked outside. He was well-mannered and affectionate, wanting to play and be pet. That smooshy face was irresistible. We lingered in the shade of a tree. I sat down with my back against the trunk, and he settled into my lap, as if this was a well-worn routine between us. Meanwhile, the matchmaker looked up his background information. When we returned, she told me the pug had been surrendered only a couple of days before. I didn't care if he'd been there for a year. In those brief 10 minutes, I was hooked. We got along famously. Early on, I noticed Wyatt had a bit of a stubborn streak. Having been told that I can occasionally be a tad obstinate, I could respect that. He was a clown. Who doesn't enjoy a good sense of humor? And he loved to eat. We were kindred spirits. Wyatt and I soon were inseparable. Then the picture taking started. At the park, by the lake, napping, playing, close-up long shots, etc. I sent one into the local newspaper in response to their Pet of the Week contest. We won, of course. They did a half-page write-up with a photo of Wyatt. A week later, I received a call from the reporter. She said she needed to tell me about something that she had never experienced in her decade-long career. A reader had recognized the pug as their dog who had recently been surrendered to the Humane Society. Having read the article, the former owners were relieved to know the dog had been adopted into a loving home. They asked the reporter if she could find out if I wanted puppy pictures of Wyatt so I could have a complete portrait of his life. I did. More than that, I wanted to know them. I took their information and reached out. We arranged a time to visit, and I learned their very sad story. The wife was being treated for an illness that, as it became worse, required hospitalization. The bills became overwhelming, and they could no longer afford their apartment. They moved in with her parents, who were allergic to dogs. When the husband arrived at the Humane Society to surrender Wyatt, he learned that the shelter was full. The thought that his beloved pet might be euthanized was overwhelming. In a panic, he walked out with Wyatt still in tow. They paced outside the shelter as the man struggled with the decision. He was so distraught with worry that he stood within a couple of feet of the shelter entrance with Wyatt in his arms, pleading with each patron who approached to please take his dog. The couple said it was the most heartbreaking season in their lives, and I believe it. We were all in tears as they described their sadness over losing him. I've heard people wonder aloud how anyone could give up their dog. Often it's because they do not have a choice. This is one of many sad examples, and yet there are still good things that came out of it. My life would not have been nearly as complete without Wyatt in it. Possum thought, timing, is it everything or is it random? Discovering Wyatt was not a coincidence. It was a blessing that started a chain of shelter dog love stories that I hope never ends. Lean into each season, whatever it brings, and rely on God's provision. You are here now for a time such as this. And my closing inspiring quote is by Kinky Friedman. Money can buy you a fine dog, but only love can make him wag his tail. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. If you'd like to get a copy of the book or find out more about us, and I say us, meaning me and my 4 adopted vintage puppies, you can check out our website, dogauthor.com. There's all sorts of links and information there. Please follow us. The newsletter's only monthly, and it's a lot of fun. It's very entertaining, if you will. There's a lot of shenanigans going on around the house. Hope you had a great day and enjoyed this reading, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Thanks. Bye-bye.